Welcome to solverfy.
Chapter 1, Section 5, Problem 14. With a wooden ruler, measure the length of a rectangular piece of sheet metal to be 12 millimeters. So this length right here is 12 millimeters as measured by the ruler. And it says with a micrometer caliper, you measure the width of the rectangle to be 5.98 millimeters. Use the correct number of significant figures. A, what is the area of the rectangle? So the first big clue about this problem is we're dealing with significant figures. And so what we have to recognize is this value right here, 12, is just written in integer form. But we have two values for these integers. So we know we have 2 sig figs on this quantity. And for this one, we have 3. Three significant figures. Okay, and so for this value for the rectangle, we're multiplying both of these quantities. 12 millimeters times 5.98 millimeters. This quantity gives us 71.76 millimeters squared. But remember, sig figs, and with multiplication, you stick to the value that has the least number of significant figures, so 2. So in this case, we only retain 2 significant figures, and we round. So in this case, we have to round up to 72 millimeters squared. Okay, for part B, it asks us to find the ratio of the rectangle's width to its length. So the width in this case is 5.98 millimeters divided by 12 millimeters. And so just with the same rule of multiplication, you have to keep the same amount of significant figures, which is the lowest one, which is 2. And so in this case, the value we get is 0.498. So we only keep 2 significant figures. And since there's a 0 right here, we keep the two values after the dot, which is 4 and 9. And since this one is above 5, we round up, giving us 0.25. That's the ratio. Okay, and for part C, the parameter of the rectangle. So the way we solve this one is we multiply the length, or we add up the lengths and the widths. And since there's 2 of them on each side, it's 2 times 12 millimeters plus 2 times 5.98 millimeters. And that gives us 35.96 millimeters. And with multiplication, we keep our values, and you go with the lower significant figure, which is the first 2 values. And so we could round up again, giving us 36 millimeters for our parameter. And for the last quantity, part D, it asks us what's the difference between the length and the width. So the length was 12 millimeters minus the width. So this quantity gives us 6.02 millimeters. And again, in this case, you keep the lower significant figure, which is these two values. 2 is less than 5, so you round down. You just truncate to 6.0 millimeters. Okay, and for part E, the last part, the very last part, is the length to width ratio. And so the length is 12 millimeters to width ratio. Running out of space right here. Length to width ratio. And that gives us 2.006. But again, like multiplication and earlier, we keep the lesser of the significant figures, such as 2. So our value is actually 2.0 per ratio.